All right, so the next thing we're going to take a look at are properties of shapes. So the three big properties we're going to take a look at are reflexive, symmetric, and transitive. So let's take a look, for example, some shape that shares a side. So we can kind of see, I can see one big triangle, I can see two little triangles, and if these two little triangles share a side, then we know something about those two, this piece. So even though this piece belongs to the top triangle as well as the bottom one, I can say that DB, that line segment DB, is also congruent to this line segment BD. Right? The order actually I don't have to write them in, doesn't matter. But if you kind of think about it a little bit, yeah, duh, that's obvious. They share the same side. And that's all the reflexive property is saying. Hey, I can, if I were to split these up, since they originally shared the same side, the DB for this triangle is the same as the DB for this triangle if I chose to split them apart like this. So I can make the comment that these two are the same length. The second property is the symmetric property. So let's say that you have two lines like that, and we have two triangles again, and assume that these lines are parallel. We can also make this statement that angle E in this corner is congruent to angle B. Right? So if these two are the same, then what the symmetric property says is, hey, I could switch those around and they'll still be the same. So again, if I separate these two triangles, I can make the comment that angle E is congruent to angle B, and angle B is congruent to angle E. So, in other words, this is the same as this no matter how I write it. And I kind of use that property right there. I rewrote it differently. Okay. All right, and then finally the last one is, hey, what if I told you that the measurement of angle E is equal to 50 degrees? Well, if the measurement of angle E equals 50 degrees, then what's the measurement of angle B? Well, yeah, it's 50 degrees. So you used it, if we slow down your logic slightly, we're going to use what's called the transitive property. So I know this is the case. I also know the measure of angle B is the same as the measure of angle, or angle E is the same as the measure of angle B, because these two pieces are congruent. And that's what it means to be congruent. Their measurements are the same. So, kind of like how you guys were doing the equal value method, right? If this equals E and this equals E, then they both must equal each other. So in other words, the measurement of angle B equals 50 degrees. And technically, we use the term equal value method in the last chapter. It really is a transitive property or substitution, so we have multiple names for it. All right, so this is just saying, hey, if this equals 50 and this equals B, then these two must equal each other.